Hello and welcome to a very sunny Sheffield today. It's lovely. It's lovely weather today. It's really good. But this is your press conference for Sunderland game. Now, there is no Michael Smith. Michael Smith was meant to do a press conference. I thought it was a bit odd that we didn't have anyone to do that this morning. Apparently, he is ill, and we'll get onto that in a minute. But before we go anywhere, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Much appreciate it. Liking helps the algorithm, sharing gets in front of people's faces, and subscribing lets me know you like the channel. Hit that notification bell to let you know when videos go live. So, Danny was very upbeat in this press conference, but also there was slight concerns he got with team for this week, and we'll go into that in detail in a moment. He hasn't said any name, but we know one of the names is Michael Smith. Because Michael Smith was meant to do the morning of the press conference and didn't. He was ill, so we got that, and we can see some of the pictures from this week, where they've been going onto the pitch. You can see he was hanging around with Paul Valentine and co, so it'll be interesting to see if they picked up anything or anything of that nature. So, he said there's a lot of positive from the last couple of games. We've had really good. It's been really good, and he gutted with us not getting the points with how well we played, because it's about results. As I say, the way we played and the way we've managed to do really well and come away with nothing in some of these games is really frustrating. But again, a lot of it down to us having the thing. It's like he said, more detail could be better. He said you can't blame, in one sense, like what's been going on. Like you got asked if it was a bad because of not getting what you needed in the transfer window. He said he wants to see good performance. So you don't mention the transfer window in a sense. You kind of not mention it. It's interesting how you look at how it is. And the thing is, when you look at how we've been playing and how we've been doing, we've been really good. And sometimes we've been that team that have been the better of the teams, and the scoreline doesn't reflect how the game is, and we've just not taken our chances, or we've not defended well. And he goes on to talk about defending, saying it's not a case of how do we fix it at the back, it's a whole team thing, because it's not just the people at the back who got it, it's also the people in front who have got to stop that ball coming forward. How do we stop that coming more forward and making sure that the defence isn't on the back foot straight away? So it's interesting how he said that, and he said he wants them to be a bit more aggressive going forward, but he understands if he does that, it's going to cause problems. People need to get back. They spoke about a situation. If you took the results at home, it puts us in the bottom four. You take the away wins, it puts us in the top six. It's weird. He said we need to be more positive, we need to be sharper, we need to take advantage of the time where we're on top and keep going, and hopefully be able to keep that little bit of positiveness that we got in ourselves and try and get the points he wants. It's 15 points from the bottom, and he wants to see us on the front foot and win the next games, and to get to that 50-point mark. We can attack the season after that, but he has said 50-point mark is where he wants to do. And I know Andy in the chat said, why are we not attacking it now? Why are we looking at getting to the 50-point mark? He's hopefully got a target, and he's mentioned it in the press a lot that the target is 50 points. He wants to get to that. I had the thing is, I'm just wondering if there's a little bit of psychological thing with the 50-point target, and this is me interjecting my feelings on this. I'm just wondering if there is a psychological aspect to it where they're so close to 50, it's just getting harder to get to that final little bit, and maybe it's just like a mental block. But it's interesting. He spoke about how Sunderland are a good team. He said how coming into Championship, all the teams are good. When you hear it's never a good time to play X, Y, and Z, sometimes it's never a good time to play any team in the Championship, because it all depends on the day what they can do. He said it won't be an easy game, but he wants the points. He said Sunderland started really well. They've got a good blend of experience and youth. And all in all, he's been really impressed with them. Now, here comes to the not so good bit about this week. Danny said it's been a tough week. We might have some faith of missing from the game Smith wasn't well. Sissoko was ill as well. He said they're close to starting, but it looks like they're better to come. And he said they'll see what happens. But he did say that you'll see we might see some changes tomorrow. And it doesn't surprise me. There's a lot of stuff going around at the minute. I was looking and just looking at how many that lot of players have all got kids. My kids have brought a lot home from school, so it wouldn't surprise me. Some of the bugs are coming from schools and nurseries and whatnot. But yeah, it's not good when you hear saying you'll find out tomorrow, meaning there are going to be some changes, which not what you want to hear, but maybe what changes it to help us get going. I don't know. He spoke about long-term injuries. Talent Miller said, but he said it's just tough thing that's going to go with Dom's ready to probably get his volume up even more. Could he do 90 minutes? No, but he could probably do a 15-20 minutes. So that's better. That's good news. That is good news that he's getting closer to that. He spoke about how he wants to clear the player's mind and just try and get everything out of the way and just go, let's start fresh, go again and go a bit more on the attacking stuff. I think because he mentioned how the last couple of games we've had, it's been odd little games where we lost by either a last minute goal or we've just not really been able to just throw ourselves into it. So he wants to see us a lot better in that sense. So clearing the mind is really good to see if we can get forward. The stats at home has been improving since the turn of this year. He's looking better. It's just the annoying thing that it's better performances that we're not getting the results in. And he said he would be more concerned if they weren't taking chances. If they weren't having chances, sorry, because we're not taking chances. Slipped by me. But if we weren't taking chances, having the chances that we're having, but then we've got to do better. But at the same time, he said the results will come and we'll see what happens. He said they're putting little tweaks on stuff because he spoke about Barry Bannon and Shea Corners. Alex did about how it's 2 this time. It's little tweaks now. It's nothing major, and we're just trying to see what we can do. Asked about the schedule, when we play the Plymouth game, they are trying to make it so they don't come back. They want to stay up around where they are, maybe go somewhere closer to Norwich so they don't have to travel back. They've spoken to the medical team, they've spoken to the players. It kind of one of those things, there's no point of going to Plymouth to then come back to then go again. So they're going to try and get somewhere to stay hotel-wise and find somewhere to train and make it so they don't come back. So it's a long journey back after the Norwich game midweek, ready for the derby on that Sunday. So that's what they want to try and do, which I think makes a lot of sense. I generally do think that makes a lot of sense in the long term, just so you're not having to constantly go back and forth and sit on a long coach journey twice. Do it like 1, 2, 4 times kind of thing. Then do it a bit shorter from Plymouth to Norwich and then do the long journey back after the game versus Norwich. So I think that makes sense. And then Alex mentioned right at the end of his question about the staff contract, because I think they all end this season, and they said that it's not something we're going to get sorted now. They'll sit down with the club, sit down with the staff, figure out what they want to do, how they want to go about it, and do all that at the end of the season. They're not going to do it now. It's more about concentrating on the here and now and ready to see what happens and keep us going till the end of the season. But it was interesting. I was very intrigued to see us do the press conference, especially knowing that we didn't have a Michael Smith to be in it due to him being ill. And it's one of those ones that I look at and go, okay, if we have got illness in the camp, who else is ill? Who else is struggling? And that's something you've got to look at and go, oh, how big a change is this lineup going to be? Because if we haven't got Smith, that means somebody else is going to have to step up. Maybe you're looking at someone like, say, an Ola Kabaki could play. Maybe you're looking at maybe a Charlie McNeil plays, depending on who's injured, who gets in. We know, ill. We know that maybe some of them might play the game, but they won't be fully fully doing it. So you might see more changes at the 50th minute because they're just flagging because they feel like crap. And it's that kind of thing you look at and you go, who you're going to rick, who you're not going to rick. Then you're going to think about the long journey down to Plymouth midweek next week to see where we go there. Because at the end of the day, you're going to want to start that quickly, but you don't want to have too many people who are ill, then getting more people on the coach ill, and then hotel. It's going to be tricky. Let's put it that way. It's going to be tricky for the medical staff and the clubs to try and figure out. So it could be a very interesting team lineup tomorrow. So don't try and predict one too much because it sounds like there could be a lot of changes. And that's the only worrying thing I take out of this presser for me is how bad are these illnesses, who is going to miss out, who may not be able to do the full one. And maybe it's time to show for other people to step up. Maybe this is something that we need to have other people step up and see what they can do. But yeah, I think it was a good presser, but very concerning that we've got a bit of a illness bug going around the camp.